Good morning, everybody. Today is December 7th, 2016, and this is Tribal Education Department's National Assembly Native Youth Community Project Team Core meeting every 2 weeks, every other Wednesday from 11 to 12 Central Time. Today's agenda is available at tedna.org/NYCP / meetings. This morning I am joined by some very dear colleagues with us today. I have Dr. Michael Pavel and Mr. Tom Brown, including myself, and Chloe Roughface taking minutes for us this morning. So just going to run through the agenda real quick. Any future dial-in information is found at the top of the agenda. Once again, the agendas are found on the TEDNA website. Seeing that Quentin Romanos is not available this morning for Executive Director update, just going to go through my highlights for the Project Director updates to look at the current program implementation to date. We're still in Schedule B. Schedule B is set to expire end of December of the calendar year. Then we'll move into January, February, March, which will be Schedule C, the second quarter of the 2017 fiscal year for TEDNA NYCP. Just for the record, I'd like to go over a summary from the Cheyenne-Arapaho Tribes College and Career Readiness Night. The night itself brought over we as a team only planned for about 40, I believe, it was about 40 people. That includes students, parents, and maybe other extended family. In total attendance, we had also with us Chromebooks for Chromebook distribution, and our estimates were very meager compared to the actual attendance there. So we checked the sign-in forms, and it looks like there were 88 total bodies who signed a sign-in form. However, we do have other documentation, photographs that show well over 88 people were in attendance. And further conferring with Tashina, there were some people and some other family members, whether those be aunts, uncles, siblings, not 6th through 9th graders who had attended but not had the chance to sign in or missed signing in. So, attendance really just blew us away, and we ran out of food, which was provided by the Oklahoma Public School Resource Center. We ran out of course, Chromebooks for distribution. We had to do some on-site distribution and enrollment and inventory, which was quite the challenge, given that Wi-Fi access can be a little off and on and spotty in that area. But we got it done. The night itself started around 5 o'clock with the agenda set to start the meeting at 5:30. We had attendees stay up until 8 o'clock, leading into 8:30, just to be around and help us clean up and be a part of the College Career Readiness Night. Soon after, the next day, it was documented and further discovered that the students were already using their Chromebooks for either homework or research, and given permissions from the school, certain students were able to use that in the classroom. Teachers were pleased with it. Of course, students were really excited to use their Chromebooks, and further looking into some of the background details or capabilities that I have as a Google administrator with the program, it looks like about 85% of the students logged in immediately the next day and started using their Chromebooks, from what I can tell in the syncing data. Pretty soon I'll start to pull reports for activities and usage, and kind of looking at what sort of browser history exists for each of these students, where they're going, if they're using it for educational purposes, and as a resource, which is what it's intended to be. I'm really excited for the next round of activities that Tashina looks to implement in the site, because we intend to have all students who are participants in the program to come to use the activities, be a part of our NYCP activities, and bring their Chromebooks, and don't hesitate to use them during any and all activities, whether those be ACT Engage, Aspire, surveys, or actual getting them connected on a good stable Wi-Fi to do our read-write tutoring, uh, so on and so forth. So we definitely have intentions to make this tool um, a very valuable asset for the program. So looking at Schedule C, there's many improvements from Schedule C to Schedule B as we make that transition. Expect to see a release of Schedule C December 29th on the schedules page and on the TEDNA website. We're looking to make major improvements in terms of comprehensive planning sessions, improved activities, enhanced lesson designs in the sense of a unit plan provided by the Academic Development Institute, uh, uh, and as well as some other timeline information. Um, Moving on to the Chromebook distribution itself, we have enrolled 54 users with Chromebooks with the Shine Arapahoe site. We have enrolled 40 users for the Northern Cheyenne tribe. Those Chromebooks have been set up and inventoried, and I'm looking to ship those physically today to Northern Cheyenne tribe at the address that Norma Bixby has given us. And then with Muskogee Creek Nation, look to schedule sometime next week for Anita Pasatopa to be able to come down to central office and pick up her segment of Chromebook distributions and work out the remainder of the distributions with Jeffrey Forsey, our absentee Shawnee education. Um, a date to notice in the future, December 12th and 13th. The program will be attending the Oklahoma Council for Indian Education Conference, better known as OC, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we'll be out of office on the road in the field on the 12th and 13th. And then the second round of scheduling for site visitations. I know that Michael and Quentin and a few others have been talking about our just making sure we're mindful of our next round of visitations and what that looks like and things that we could bring to the table and continue to offer our support to each of our sites. There's been some dates talked about as early as January, but then as late as March. So pretty
Right
sure
on.
as part of that second quarter, we'll select a few dates and kind of run from there. So that's all I have for right now in my updates. So gonna go down the list of opportunities to speak. I don't believe we have any TED directors with us from absentee Shawnee tribes, Cheyenne Arapaho, Northern Cheyenne, or Muskogee Creek Nation. Moving on to 4B, Dr. Michael Pavel. Good morning.
Good morning, Julian, and good morning, Tom. It's glad to have you two online and to be able to record this because the message will be very consistent. We've completed and disseminated the first year external evaluation report through the proper channels. And in doing so, we can say that there's been a tremendous amount of success in the overall implementation of the project. And regardless of whatever sputters and bumps that we've encountered, every one of them been addressed in a very professional, competent way. It positions the project TEDNA NYCP 2015 to design and develop a first-rate database that can drive critical decision making for the project on a daily basis and overall. And in doing so, one of the things that we find is that not only are we able to collect data from PEDs and LEAs, we can also identify data that we need to collect. What's really impressive about this project is that now we have the opportunity to embrace contributions from resource partners.
Oh, I think we lost you there, Michael. I can't hear you. Tom, can you hear Michael?
I don't know.
Okay.
It
Okay,
has decisions.
now I'm back on.
Okay.
Okay.
And are you able to hear me now? let me pick up with saying that we are in a unique position to be able to design and develop and implement a first-rate database that's going to help us collect and manage and analyze measures to monitor our efforts to achieve the goal and the objectives. In doing so, we already accepted the opportunity that TEDs and LEAs can provide data, but now we're in a position to incorporate the contributions of resource partners. It's very, very exciting. For example, with ACT, which has some of the most outstanding measures of college and career readiness, we have, in addition to that, a collaboration from an experienced ACT professional who's now operating his own consulting firm to be able to help design a longitudinal research database. At the same time, other resource partners are very skilled and schooled at being able to provide measures that pertain to either the goal or the objectives or all of it. ReadWrite's a really good example of that. ReadWrite is very practiced at being able to acquire data to measure provide measures that pertain to Objective A, academic achievement. At the same token, there's another realm of college and career planning that the TEDs are embracing with unique and innovative strategies. Some of them include what's called the meat poster, but then there's this realm about the vocabulary. Exciting work's taken place that offer unique measures of this concept we call college and career planning. Now let me finalize with saying that there's some important contributions by other resource partners that we're really going to flesh out. ADI, for example, is going to help better understand what's going on with creating a culture where everyone believes Indian youth are capable of becoming college and career ready. This pertains to our third objective, and that's an objective that every NYCP program should endeavor to address. At the same time, we have the Native American Rights Fund and their education co-training that can contribute yet another exciting measure about how we create cultures where everyone believes that Indian youth are college and career ready, capable of becoming college and career ready. That's happening as we speak. This afternoon we have, or later this morning, we have a presentation to the TEDNA Executive Committee, the TEDNA Board's Executive Committee, to talk about this. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I can go on really to talk about the contributions of Khan Academy video series production, the work that Matt Higdon at Oklahoma Historic Regions and Higher Education can contribute. And at the same time, I could go on and talk about how there's a sophisticated organizational capacity to make all this happen with the added support of people like Sydney, that Julian continually is on top of things. I really got to stop myself because there's so much to cover. And I just want to say it's going to be an exciting year to implement this, and I think it's going to really put TEDNA and TEDNA NYCP 2015 in a really unique situation to be of service and to provide leadership and support to other NYCP programs across the nation with regard to developing, managing, analyzing, and reporting on measures to see whether the goal and the objective are being achieved or not, or what we can do to ensure that they are being met. Julian?
Thank you, Dr. Preble. Appreciate those updates very much so, and looking forward to the next few weeks that we have ahead of us. So, and it sounds like we have another caller who just joined us. Good morning.
Maybe they're on mute. Caller 01.
Oh, looks like they left. That's okay. Well, if they join us again. Well, thank you, Michael. Next, Dr. D. Tadlock with ReadWrite. However, Mr. Tom Brown is proxy.
I am indeed, and we're very excited about the prospect of getting going with the read-write tutoring on a scale in the Plan B starting in January. And of course, all that is going to hinge on the college and career readiness specialists being able to work with the tribes and the LEAs to work out venues for the students where they can be tutored in groups of four. And we can do this at a pretty good scale because we have um, both last year's tutoring to do and this year's tutoring to do. And we're really anxious to get going on that because we know that the students that participate will experience improvings in their confidence and proficiency in reading at a pace that will really help them on a day-to-day basis in class. So this is our mission in life, is to help students to do this, and we're looking forward to doing it as those issues of venue and support and technology get resolved. And we're also hoping to participate in this December OCIE conference, and we haven't heard back yet as to whether or not we're officially welcome to that group. We apparently picked up the ball on that a little later than their deadline. We're still waiting, but since I see that um, NYCP is definitely going to be there, if you guys are open to that, we will participate under your umbrella. So we can talk about that offline, but we'd very much like to support you in that way. That's all I have at the moment, Julian.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Tom. We appreciate that. Yeah, we look forward to the OC conference, and we'll definitely get together and start talking, especially that first day. That first day is pretty wide open for us. I know there's the schedule that we're following. I've already sent out logistics to all the specialists and getting them situated for the 12th and the 13th. And if you'd like to see those logistics, please just let me know and I can send those to you easily.
Or if you would, please, that'd be very helpful.
Sure, absolutely. All right. Well, Bernadette had emailed me a few minutes ago saying that she's still stuck in another meeting. However, she's going to join us if we're still going on by then. So um, I'll come back to her if she's able to join us this morning. Mark Williams is out of town, unable to join us, but we wish him well, of course. Moving on to 4E, Kevin Houchin, Steve Kapler. Um, Thinking about ACT as a valuable resource, we've been working closely with Kevin and Steve and Michael and I have just been pushing this forefront in terms of data and being mindful of data, and exposing the public at large to such a great partnership that we have with ACT. And Steve Kapler, we do intend to utilize him through his contract for all the needs of us making sense of our data and making use of it and making it as a tool. Of course, there's no sense of in collecting data if you don't use it. And so those two are invaluable partners in having us well equipped to make use of that data. So, and then with Kevin Houchin, he and I have been working on getting being mindful of the next bulk order for ACT Aspire. I know I'm going to have to relook at that and make sure that gets put in. There is a deadline for our bulk order, and I believe that's sometime next week. So both him and I will work offline to get that situated. So, any other comments, Michael, on ACT?
No, I've got a call out to Kevin and Steve and look forward to setting up a time where I can walk through the findings of the first year evaluation and to incorporate Sydney within that discussion. I'm excited. Let me ask, when's the last time you talked to Kevin?
On the phone, it's been a while, but we've just been in contact via email. So
Good.
sometime earlier this week.
Would you mind if I set up a call then after I connect with him and maybe sometime next week, of course?
Sure. Yeah, I don't mind at all.
Okay, great. No, that's my only update.
Okay. So Jerome Tosi or Sevilla with Native Innovations. I don't believe they're joining us this morning. And then exciting developments, 4G Arash Hoda, our Khan Academy video series production. I'm sure we'll definitely have Arash on in the unveiling of this video series production itself. We're the lights at the end of the tunnel, and we've been working closely, and I'm excited to see the final stretches and efforts of publication of our video series production. Arash Hoda has been a producer in this effort and leading the charge in terms of generating the content and both TEDNA and TEDNA NYCP as a client, but then more so as just a representative for the students. These videos will serve great content to assist the specialists in connecting with students, and having these videos talk about the Khan Academy and how it relates to not only digital education as a platform and as a tool, but most of all as one of those added resources in terms of taking control of their own learning and being digital citizens, but then also tribal citizens, and using online education in such a way that makes them stronger as individuals and as students. So the video series production itself, like I said, lights at the end of the tunnel. We've been working closely with him, and he's putting some. He's going from rough cut into stages of final production. We've been working with him on that, and we appreciate his service to the program. So
Let's make note, he just provided a quick update to you via email, and there are some exciting developments that we might want to get our head around, some of which he's talked with you about too, Julian, in terms of how do you develop a production that's a little bit more malleable and fluid to adapt to the changing times, whether they be uh, terms and applications. Whatever we're looking at, it's an online world that's very dynamic and changes as we speak. And he's proposed something that I think we might want to have a conversation with Sydney about too, in terms of whether it's you or her or all of us, adept at being able to manipulate that production in such a way that it's timely, that it's using terminology, that it's making use of apps that are prevalent and popular. When we do that, it just makes the shelf life of something like this, the online contribution, much more uh, fluid in adapting to the changing circumstances. Uh, so,
yeah, absolutely, and
right.
I appreciate his foresight and being able to look at that, because that's something I know when we were providing our comments, I completely overlooked. I didn't realize that social media can quickly change on a whim like that, and I knew about it and I remember talking about it before, but as far as me being mindful of that, I appreciate that he was able to bring that up. So appreciate.
Michael, Julian, this is Tom.
Yes.
I'd very much like to participate in discussions on that. I think it is the issue of the moment. Virtually any enterprise we're involved in has to take into account how this is evolving, because people are reaching out to online tools to be able to manage their daily affairs. And if we're not part of that universe, we'll be missing a bet. So anything I can do to advance that cause, I'd be happy to work on it with you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, moving on to 4G, excuse me, 4H, Matthew Campbell with Native American Rights Fund. The only thing I'd like to mention on this is that I also want to keep, it's in the peripheral right now, but kind of put it up front, the scheduling of the next round of Indian Education Code trainings to the tribes, the representatives. It seems like some of the tribes that we are partnered with had some changes in leadership, so we might look into once again going back as a refresher of the Indian Education Code trainings to not only revisit those, but at the same time offer, what could be circumstantial in terms of saying, this might be new to the newly elected officials, whoever those are, whichever community that is. So want to put that on the radar, and I'll work with Matt on getting that scheduled. Um,
That's
for
That's great, Julian. I wanted to jump in and before you went on to the next and say it's a unique opportunity to revisit. In fact, we'll be probably, I would recommend being deeply committed to that because it allows us, me, you, and Sydney and others in cooperation with Melanie and Matt, to develop data collection tools and resources to capture those moments. And I think it might even serve us well to think about pre and post. Uh, and what is that pre and post effort? I mean, what's going on in people's mind about education clothes and how it relates to college and career readiness? And then they'll be able to go through the training. We ask them, how much has this attitude, perception, or position changed as a result of the education code? And this isn't a litmus test about whether it works or not. I've been there. I know what this training does. What it allows us to do is capture that moment in a very sophisticated way. Right now, we can basically depend on the agenda and maybe some photos, but now we get a chance to get some commentary, narrative, some voices attesting to this amazing work that NARP has been doing for decades now. I'm glad that we're setting it up, and Julie and I would say that uh, not if, what, but when and how.
Thank you for that. Yes, definitely. Um, Moving on to 4I, Mr. Matthew Higdon with Oklahoma State Regents for Higher Education. He's definitely been involved with us, and of course been a due partner, as well as staying informed on what we're doing. And he looks to get involved with an event we're planning on putting on, inviting other NYCPs to come out and look at our implementation, look at our set of strategies, and kind of just be proactive in our sense of displaying some leadership as a program, and offer, an explanation of, what were our successes, what were our holdbacks, and kind of so on and so forth. So Matt looks to be a part of that conversation, and we appreciate his participation thus far. Um, for Jay, guest present not listed, we don't have anybody else with us this morning, and of course, because we're so small this morning, usually on the agenda I have here final thoughts for Quentin Romanos. However, I'll just go around for all three of us and offer some final thoughts. And I'd like to start with you, Michael.
How exciting it is to be well into the second year and already some fascinating and inspiring activities underway. And I just have to say, what a pleasure it is to be of service to an initiative that's fundamentally making sound and wise choices that affect the future of Indian youth across the country. It's a beautiful moment and a wonderful opportunity to say thank you.
Thank you for that, Michael. Next, Mr. Tom Brown.
Well, I continue to be just inspired and encouraged by the work that's being done in this project and by TEDNA in general. And I want to do all I can to support that. Um, I have, uh, this has turned out to be an abiding lifetime interest. So I don't have the same resources of health and energy that I had when I was a younger man, but I intend to dedicate the time that I have as productively as I can for NYCP and for TEDNA.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your comments, gentlemen. With that being said, the time is 11:45, and we'll go ahead and close out and adjourn our core meeting. The last item here is next standing core meeting will be December 21st. Once again, December 21st. That's the same time, 11 to 12 Central Time. That'll be Wednesday, December 21st. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.